Good afternoon and welcome to the Happy Half Hour. I'm Leigh Kubin, Master Certified Life Coach and Mindset Coach.
I'm Sandra Priestley. I'm a business and branding coach. Welcome to the podcast. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
I'm drinking a very special rosé today.
Oh, rosé all day.
Rosé all day. And it is a gift I got from a friend of mine. And it is called, can you see it? It's called Basque.
Yes. Oh.
And I just love branding, as you know.
Mm.
And so what I love about it is that on this bottle, then it says Basque, says how to say it, says it's a verb, to lie or relax in pleasant warmth or atmosphere, to revel in, to take pleasure and enjoyment. Now, I don't know why the definition of Basque is such a good idea on this
Well,
bottle.
that definition is
Just right, it just feels beautiful. I'm like, oh, I want more of this Basque wine. So anyway, that is what I am drinking. It's pretty tasty.
Love it.
What are
It
you
looks
drinking?
good. I am drinking some Crown Royal caramel. No, not caramel. What is this called? Apple, apple cinnamon. I don't know. Apple whiskey.
Canadian, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And a girl.
So let's see what kind of apple this is. Oh, it's a caramel apple. Oh, yeah, it's a caramel apple.
Just warms the tummy, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of
Love
feels
it.
like I just bit into like a green
Caramel.
apple with
Mm,
caramel on it.
yum.
Mm-hmm.
Dick.
Yes. So,
I love it.
so good.
So let's chat about my
Yes.
weight loss journey again.
Oh, is it free coaching
It's
Thursday?
coaching Thursday, because I feel like all of everyone that I talk to loves my story about my weight loss. I don't know why, but anyway, so we're gonna share it again, and you
Okay.
can coach me if I need it.
Okay.
But so I think on this podcast I had said like it has been years of me actively trying to lose weight and also gaining it.
Mm-hmm.
And my mindset was a mix between um, hope and uncertainty, hope and disbelief,
Mm-hmm.
trying, but only kind of half-assing it because, I was scared to try something that wasn't going to work. So I try something and I go all in for 2 days and then I go, fuck it, maybe this isn't going to work. Now I'm panicking. And, I was like really struggling with a mindset piece. And I know you had said to me, like, love something about your body. And I'm like, ugh, is it my glasses? Can I love glasses? Can I, like, was really tough for me, even though when I hit the 20 pounds loss,
Mm-hmm.
thought how sad that I couldn't find something like that version of me,
Yeah.
couldn't find something.
Because you're no different.
This is a
It,
kick-ass badass person.
yeah. Yeah.
It was like, different clothes or
Yeah.
same clothes, different fit.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I mean, I've lost, I want to lose 40, so I've lost half.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started to feel way better. Like I started to feel way better, less
Right.
achy, less puffy. I
Mm-hmm.
woke up in the morning, my hands didn't swell up. I mean, like it's not just about, not that I berate anyone for wanting to look better. I don't.
Right.
I
Right.
think go kick some ass, girl, like, and I
Yeah.
hate shaming on women who want to lose weight for themselves.
Yeah.
I can't stand.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it was not just that. It was I wanted to look in the mirror and be happy within myself, but I also wanted more energy. I wanted to feel better. I didn't want to be puffy. I wanted to feel good in my own skin, in my own body. I wanted to feel energetic. And so I got to the 20 pounds and I started to feel like it was this milestone. And it was a milestone that slightly fucked me up a little bit
Mhm.
because I got to that 20 pounds. It was halfway. It was like, oh my gosh. Okay. I surrendered. I asked for help. I allowed her belief to override my disbelief for a bit, right?
Mhm.
Till
Yeah.
I could believe in myself.
Mhm.
And I got to the 20 pounds. I started feeling better. I started to look better. I started to and I told myself that I was going to celebrate with, not with food. I was
Good
going
job.
to celebrate with clothes every
Yeah.
10. So the
Mhm.
first, I bought clothes. The second, when I hit 20, I got down to 20 pounds. And then the next, and I did not go out that day. I should have.
Mhm.
Should have gone shopping that day. The next day, I was up a pound. So it was 19. And then I thought, can't celebrate. Now I got to get back down to 20. There was something that happened there where I just hit a pause. It was like all of a sudden I hit this 20 pounds and I wasn't all in on the plan that I knew that worked.
Mm.
I started to be a little bit more lax. It wasn't celebrating with cheesecake. It wasn't celebrating
Right.
with let's go and have a whole pizza, but it was like, I feel good now
Mhm.
and I feel better in my own skin. I feel like, not good enough, but good enough, kind of,
Yeah.
right? And I started to convince myself a few chips here won't matter, and a few this won't matter, and maybe I can have bread for supper and or a bagel. And
Oh.
for me, yeah, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that. And it was just such a it was frustrating for me initially, but I feel like I've grown so much because I don't shame myself for
Right.
doing it. And
You observe it.
I
Isn't this
observed it.
interesting?
Isn't this interesting that I hit 20 pounds and then I would go right away, go up a few, stay stuck there, and struggle with getting back on my plan that I know that works.
Yes.
And I started really looking at what I used to think before,
Mhm.
how differently that is now. Like, I used to think I should be able to, I should be able to have a bagel at supper. This 21-year-old can. I should be able to. I'm fucking 50.
Mhm.
Well, 51 now.
Yeah. We are
51.
51.
51 years old. And my body doesn't fucking love bagels.
No.
I feel sluggish. I need a nap. I am like puffy in the morning. If I am going to have even a half a bagel, it better be for breakfast because by
Yes.
the time I have it at lunch or supper, no, I'm going to feel like shit for the rest of the day and the next day.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like the goal always was to feel better as well as look better.
Correct.
But I think so now it's more, I think I've accepted what is.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of times when anyone, but I work with women, when we start a journey, whether it's a weight loss journey, whether it's a coaching journey, whether it's um, life coaching, whether it's business coaching, whether it's branding coaching, it doesn't really matter what it is. We get stuck by our thoughts of, but I should be able to.
And that's just a bullshit excuse that lets us off the hook. Well, I
Yes.
should be able to, so I'm going to. Well, you can,
Yeah.
but there's a consequence to it. And this is about weight. This is about money. This is about
Yeah.
anything,
Mm-hmm.
any conversation that you're having. Those two just popped in my head, but it really applies across the board. And we get stuck because we think, well, I should be able to do this. You know,
Yeah.
I don't have any money, but I should be able to go buy this and this. Like, come on.
Yeah. Like what? Right. It's like we have to look at ourselves realistically, no, I hate that word realistically, but like we have to know where we're at.
Right. Well, it's like
And just like,
if you go on vacation
mm,
and you have $200 in cash, and I'm just making up a number, but you got
yeah,
$200 in cash. Do you buy the first thing you see?
right.
Or do you say, I want that, but there might be something I want more down the road?
It's a little bit
Or
of
do
everything,
you
yeah.
put it on a card that you're going to
Mhm,
have to pay off later?
exactly.
It's not much different than your money when you're talking about calories.
It's true.
So I'm
It's
sorry, I kind of
true.
interrupted you there.
No, 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 but it's, and I think that I got stuck in that fixed mindset.
Yeah.
This, oh, I should be able to. And even when I was working for the federal government, and when I was a case manager at the time, I was working with a lot of injured people, and they were what I noticed was a lot of the people who were very, very active, who had back issues, were stuck
Mm,
because they continually said, I should be able to still play hockey.
mhm.
Well, you can't. So we're like, if you do, you're in deep trouble. You can barely walk right now.
Yeah.
Probably off the table for you right now, buddy.
Right.
And, but it's like, this like rigid, I should be able to,
Hmm.
this mentality. And I used to see that all the time with when I was weight loss coaching too, right? I used to, when I was 20, I used to be able to drink like a fish, eat a whole pizza, do all of this stuff, and I'd still lose weight.
Yeah.
Or I would be working with women of all different ages, and there would be one woman, 20, 25, 26 years old, and she's dropping weight like crazy using the same plan that the woman that is 52, 48, 47 years old is struggling, and she's pissed and saying, what's wrong with me? Why is she losing weight?
Yeah.
Why am I not losing weight? What the fuck am I doing? I might as well eat the Dairy Queen Blizzard. And I'm like, well, because your age is different than hers.
Well, and her
We
body's different.
perimenopause now. We
Yeah.
hold inflammation. Things don't flush the way they used to when we were 21,
Well, and I want to say on that note, I have had a 74-year-old woman that lost 4 pounds just about every week.
Good for her.
So, yes, in general, that's true. But is that more because we believe it and we expect it? Or is it,
Too. Possibly too, but I also think that when we start to eat in ways that nourish our body releases it. And I also
yeah.
think, I also think I start to think differently too.
Hmm. Oh,
Like once you start to lose it, you believe you can lose it.
yes. You're
The
like, oh,
stress, the stress that you're holding on to because you can't lose it,
yeah.
because you have the belief now. But also I think our minds, when we start to feed our body, our minds start to react positively as
Uh-huh.
well. I feel
And
like there's so much going on, right?
it's not that different than what we were talking about last week, how we do something that's working for us
Mm-hmm.
and we're seeing the results and things are sorting themselves out and
Yeah.
all seems to be right. And then we're like, I don't need to do that anymore. It's the same thing.
Yes.
And I see it all
All
the
the
time.
time.
So I want to share a quote with you that you shared with me. Your perspective can be your prison or your power. That is from Trent Shelton, ex NFL player, with the podcast Straight Up.
Straight up with Trent Shelton. Yeah.
Okay. So your perspective can be your prison or your power. What do you want?
In everything.
Everything.
Like, I think we forget sometimes, like we convince ourselves that what we fear, what we believe, our talk track
Mm-hmm.
is it's like cemented in,
Yeah.
like what we believe is truth. There is a business coach, Julia Wells is her name. And she says, um, if it makes me feel like shit, it's a lie. That's what
Mhm.
she tells herself all the time. If it makes
Yeah.
me feel like shit, it's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
And while I think sometimes it's like, should I do this? It makes me feel like shit. It might be the truth. Like it might be like, oh, that's my gut saying no. But if it's a story that I'm telling myself and it makes me feel like shit about myself, it's a lie, I can go with that. Like if it's at my internal talk track, but like,
Yeah.
what if it's like,
Yes.
should I do this? Should I not? I have a bad feeling. That's not a lie.
Well,
That might be the universe. That might be my
but
gut
we
feeling.
have evidence, right? Paul and I went to eat at the Cheesecake Factory, and we've only eaten there once in our lifetime.
Okay.
And we had dropped off my car or picked it up or something. It was in Austin, and we spent some time there and we were hungry. So we had this gift card to Cheesecake Factory. So we went and we split a meal. And we didn't get cheesecake. And I don't even remember what we ate. But when I finished my dinner and we split the meal and brought leftovers home, we didn't
Wow.
even, but the portions are stupid, ridiculous.
Okay.
And on the way home, I remember sitting back in my chair going, honey, I feel like shit. I don't
Uh-huh.
ever want to feel like this again.
Yeah.
And I remember that. And it's been, I bet, 6 years since that happened.
Wow.
But I remember that. And so when I'm thinking about eating certain things, I'll be like, do you want to feel like that? Or do you want to be able to go home and jump in the pool or go on a walk or sit just out on the back patio and enjoy the sun?
Yeah.
That's not a lie. I have evidence. I've been there before.
Yes. But I think it's when it's a story that you're telling
Oh yeah,
yourself
the stories that make you feel like shit are
that you're
bullshit.
creating. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're
The evidence
you
that
suck, you're fat, you're unworthy,
assumptions. Yeah.
all bullshit. That's not
Absolutely.
coming from source, whatever that source is for you.
Right.
God does not talk to people like that.
No. Right.
Humans do, but God, not so much.
Humans do, we do. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I really like that she said that because I really, I feel like it stops us in that negative self-talk before
Mhm.
we start to repeat it over and over and over and over again, because what we repeat, we become.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can create a story that we repeat over and over and over so
Yeah.
many times that it is so real, it
Yeah.
becomes not real.
Well, and then that's our
Back
perspective.
to it.
And
Exactly.
then
It's
it
just
becomes our prison.
absolutely.
And that's where we get stuck.
Yeah.
But when we can look at life and not from a prison perspective. I mean, my dad, he called the other night and I'd sent him Lily got a new phone number and I had sent it to him and he called me and we're chit-chatting and we're just talking about life and we start talking about how blessed we are. Like how our family has just thrived and there's been no major traumas and we're healthy, we're here. But he said, the only one is his brother had a son, and I think his wife, she was about 40 when he was born, and she was in a car accident right before he was born, and it did something to her placenta
Oh
to where
gosh.
it ripped
Okay.
away. And I might be confusing that. It's been years since it's happened, but when it happened typically when it happens, the mother dies and the baby dies.
Okay.
And both of them died on the table when they got to the hospital. But they brought her back. They were able to bring Jacob back, and
Wow.
a miracle that he was alive. They did not expect him to make it for a few days. Like they
Wow.
just expected that he was not going to make it. And he lived to be 6. And he never spoke. He didn't cry. He couldn't walk. Like he didn't, I mean, he sat there with them,
Wow.
but he changed their life. And
Mhm.
he showed them love. And that baby, all that child ever received was pure positive love. So it was beautiful for him. It was beautiful for them. The people that they met along the way and were able to help and share their story with, it changed their life. Would they have traded those 6 years? No. Was it
No.
tragic what happened? Yeah. But they wouldn't go back and say, I don't want that to happen. It was a beautiful 6 years that they got to spend, not every moment, I'm sure, but their perspective was everything. And it could have been a prison. It could have been an absolute prison for them and him,
Absolutely.
but that's not their perspective on it. And it's so it's like, even though, we were talking about, yeah, that happened, but look at all the beautiful things that came out of it. And that's how we need to look at life, including our weight.
Yes. It's so true. It's
Mm-hmm.
so true. And there was I'm trying to think. I had read something the other day that it was so good, but it really was like, it was like, oh, I know, I was just talking about this with a friend of mine. It was something that Matthew McConaughey said.
Oh, Matthew.
And I know.
Love
Um,
him. Love
but
Paul Moore, but
yeah, it's close second.
oh yeah.
Um, but he said something about we fear, our fear is like the boogeyman. And yes, and it's like we fear it and it has this big, huge hold on us, or this belief that we've got. And when it turns out, when we face it, it's actually not
No.
true. It's not the boogeyman. The
And you're
boogeyman
like, oh,
is
really?
only awful because we believe that it's there. It becomes our prison. It becomes the thing that we think is happening, the only thing that is out there. And when we actually can face it as fact,
Yeah.
it's
It's
not
so
that
much less than what we thought it was,
it is.
because the story we tell, it just gets bigger and bigger and badder and badder. And oh my God, I'm going to die. And yeah, no, it's really not even that scary. It's like,
It's true.
that's all you got.
Yeah. And it's not true. It's
Mm-mm,
not true. It's not as scary. It's not fact.
mm-mm.
And we spend so much time trying to convince ourselves that the assumptions and the talk track and the stories that we tell ourselves are fact,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like, no matter how crazy it is, I've got clients who will say to me, but I know it's true. Because my response is that fact or assumption?
Mm,
Oh, well, I don't know for sure, but I know what she's like. I know what she meant. I've been here before. I'm
yeah.
like, I don't fucking know, because it's still assumption.
Yeah.
The
100%.
only way to know if it's fact is to go to the source and say, hey, I want to know what you meant by that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, if we would do that, the things that we could clean up, and the fear that would melt away, and
So
life would just be easier.
even if we did this to our own thoughts, like
Oh
Trent
yeah.
Shelton also has said, when he thinks that he's not enough, he says, wait a minute, Trent, what does enough mean to me? He
Mm-hmm.
challenges himself, like in his own sort of two-way conversation in his head.
Yeah.
What if we did that?
Yeah.
What if every time we had a fucked up thought, we sat there and questioned ourselves? We
Yeah.
sat and we questioned ourselves and went, wait a minute, Priestley, why are you thinking that? Why are you saying that?
Yeah.
What does it mean to you?
Judgment is not truth.
It's coming from judgment is not truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How different would our lives be?
Oh,
just
Yeah.
questioned everything. Is this fact or is this assumption?
Yeah. Yep.
And not, oh, it's, I know
I
it's
know
fact.
what they meant.
Oh, that they know. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fact because I know what she meant. No, no,
And
you
I'm
don't.
pissed about it.
You know the words.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Lily, Lily's going through some stuff and I'm super proud of her. I'm watching this growth and I'm like in awe and excited for her. But she posted on Facebook and it said, might not be where I want to be, but I'm en route. And I was like, yes, you are en route. However, my response was, spoiler alert, we're always all en route.
Yeah.
We are always, and we forget that sometimes because we get to one spot and we go, okay, I'm here, but now I want to go here. And it's almost like we feel like, oh, I haven't arrived yet. We don't ever arrive.
Yeah.
It is a constant with our weight, with our business, with our
Yeah.
money, with our relationships, with jobs, with our house. I mean, Sandra, are you done with house projects yet?
Yeah.
How long have you been in the house?
15 years.
Okay. Same. I mean, I think we might have been here, gosh, 17, 18, 19. It's been a long freaking time.
Yeah.
There's always, we get one thing done and we see, oh, this needs to be done. Oh, now it's time to do this. Our life is the same way, but we judge it so harshly because we haven't arrived as if
Yeah.
we're ever going to arrive.
But how sad if we do.
No, how bored would we be?
Exactly. How sad if we actually got there, if we achieved the dang thing that we wanted to,
Yeah.
then what? You know what? Olympians, same thing. They work their entire lives to
Yeah.
be an Olympic gold medalist, to stand first place on the podium, to receive the gold medal. It looks beautiful.
Yeah.
The anthem is playing and you're crying and you got your flowers and everything is great. And then where the fuck do you go?
Yeah. You
It
move to the next level.
has to always be about growth every
Yeah.
day and not about ever arriving and not feeling like you're enough until you do. Because I
No.
actually love this idea that even though calculus freaks me the hell out, and so does the planets, solar system, like knowing that there's no end to the galaxy, knowing that it's a line that approaches a line that never gets to a line, like these things stress me out. But what doesn't stress me out, what allows me such peace, is to know that every day until the end of my days,
Mm-hmm.
it's about growth and
Mm-hmm.
evolution and
Yeah.
progress and learning more about myself
Yeah.
every single day.
Yeah.
When we
It's,
don't do that, when we don't learn about ourselves, I
yeah.
think brains start to slowly.
Yeah. Well, and we give up.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember my grandma, and I love you, Gigi, but I used to call her or go see her, and I'm like, well, what have you been doing? And she's like, I'm just sitting here waiting to die.
Oh,
And it always broke my heart, but if she wasn't doing anything to grow, she
right.
was literally sitting there like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And we should never be done,
You know,
ever.
I had this great conversation with a friend of mine who's here visiting, and her chiropractor, he's like famous. He's amazing. From a small city in Saskatchewan. He is 91 years old.
Wow.
And like they want him to speak at the University of Toronto, and like he's cured some amazing things that like seem illogical for him to
Yeah.
cure, you know. And he's like always, she said, he's just so interested in always learning.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what would happen if you removed him from that environment?
Right.
I know with my grandfather, he loved working on his farm. He loved farming. He loved being on his tractor. And two of my aunts, they were saying, oh gosh, he's got to get off this tractor. He's got to get off this tractor. They didn't live near him. And we lived right next door
Mhm.
on an acreage next to their farm. And I remember saying, you remove him from the tractor.
Mhm.
That's what he loves. That's
Yeah.
it's not all he had, but it's like that would be the start of the end.
Yeah.
And when he wasn't able to do that anymore, he started to deteriorate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because for me, it's like the exciting part is not getting to the finish line. The exciting part is the process of trying to figure out where we're going
What's
next.
next? Yeah.
What's next? What else is
Yeah.
possible? You
Oh,
know? Yeah. Like for me, it's like always about
yeah.
constant growth and learning and understanding,
Mhm.
more about ourselves,
Well, shit,
awareness
Sandra, we've got 40 more years at least.
at least.
I mean, that's a lot of fucking time.
Yeah. What else can we do?
I know.
How many
And
fun
that is more
yeah.
exciting to me than anything,
Me too.
to think about what's next.
Yeah.
What are we going to do next?
Yeah.
It's not over. And I
And it's
remember as a
not
young
about,
child
yeah.
thinking, 40, you're done. Life's
Yeah.
over.
Oh, I know.
Old folks home.
For me too, it's like, and maybe I said this earlier, but I feel like I need to say it again. It's not about not being happy with who I am right now, because I've also been shamed for saying, that I wanted something different. I wanted something more. And then all of a sudden someone comments or shares a post and it's like, you should just be happy with who you are now. Yeah, I am. And also
And
I'm happy with
also,
the journey.
I love who I am and where I'm at, but oh, so excited to see what's next.
Right.
Yeah. And that's okay.
It's okay. Well, and judgment is not truth, so I don't really care
Amen.
what says to me, like, because their opinions doesn't really matter in the
And
majority.
how sad that you would think, just be happy with where you are and what you've got. There's nothing more out there for you. How sad is that?
Absolutely.
So don't miss in the boat.
Absolutely. And but that doesn't mean, I mean, we know your story about like, having like a mattress on the floor, being pregnant, being young, and looking around and going, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful. And we can be grateful and want more. We
Oh,
can
yeah.
be grateful and happy and feel
Yeah.
enough. Also want to explore what else is possible.
Yeah.
Like how exciting.
Yeah. Ooh.
I
And
know.
on that note, we're out of
We're
time.
up. I know.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed this
Me
so
too.
much. Have a great week. I will see you next Thursday. And thank you guys for joining us. We will see you next Thursday on the Happy Half Hour. Bye.
Bye.